At 2 hours, so.
Oh, 2 hours in the camera. I can trim it.
Do you want me to stop it? It's recording.
It's whatever. I can trim it. Alright guys, well let's get started. I know we're supposed to be a long time tonight. They want us to get started on time and end on time. I don't know how long it'll take to do this. I probably could talk forever on this topic because there's just so much up there. And I apologize if I skip something that you were wanting to know. I'd be happy to hang around a little bit afterwards and answer some questions. First of all, let me say I'm not an expert in this at all. I'm just a fellow youth worker that does a lot of this and loves doing it. And when they offered to do this, they said, who does the most of this in the HBA group? And they said, oh, Haley's the one that's always online and always doing this. So I'm just going to highlight some of these things and hopefully cover some of the things you haven't seen before. You may have seen all this. This is not an advanced class and it's not a beginning class, so somewhere in between. All right? How many of you guys have a Facebook page? How many of you guys Twitter? How many of you guys have a YouTube channel? All right. How many of you guys do Foursquare? Ah, good. I'm glad because I decided not to talk about Foursquare. So you're all online, and my opinion is if you're going to work with youth, you have to be online. I mean that's where they are, and you have to have texting too. So if you can text and you can get online with them, you're going to communicate with them. How many of you guys have stopped using email to talk to teenagers? I don't use email at all.
They don't know what it is.
Yeah, they don't anymore. It's like, somebody the other day goes, what's a CD? I mean, to me, that's like, what? They get it all online now, you know, so everything's online. But today we're just going to start talking about some of these things, and I ask a lot of questions, and I love interaction, so if you got questions or want to stop me, need something else, just let me know. So let's get started. All right? And I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I don't have the greatest projector, so the really small text on my Facebook pages and stuff you can't read. Maybe that's going to save you from reading my tweets and my Facebook pages posts. But all right, Wikipedia defines the term social media as social media refers to the use of web-based and mobile technologies to turn communication into interactive dialogue. So one of the things you want to know about this, when you're in social media, social is the key part there. If you're using it properly, you're using it for conversations, not using it as a one-way, you're not using it as a bullhorn. Okay? So keep that in mind as we go about this. Think about how you can use social media to start conversations, to interact with youth, to be involved in them besides just making a broadcast effort at it. If that's all you do is broadcast, it can be used as that, but it's not really meeting its full potential if you're not communicating two ways with it. It's web-based, it's mobile, it's for communication, and it's create interactive dialogue. Okay? And I gave you a little handout. I'm not the kind of guy that leaves the blanks and lets you fill them in, so I just left them the way they are. But I didn't leave any details under the different topics we'll talk about. Just leave those open for notes. Okay? Social media explained. All right, Facebook. It's for your posts. I like donuts. Okay? Twitter, talking about what you're doing at the moment. I'm eating a donut, and you see the hashtag donut. Everybody know what a hashtag is? All right, we're going to go over that just a little bit, okay? Okay. Foursquare, which we don't use, but this is where I eat donuts. It's a location thing. It's a location service. On Facebook, they have check-in, and I've seen a new feature to check in. I don't know if it's just started, but the check-in, if I check in, I'm at Holston Baptist, and anybody else that checks in, I get a notification about that. That's something new to me on Facebook. I've never seen it before. Maybe I've just not used it right. YouTube. Watch the video of me eating my donut. Okay? Instagram. Have you ever heard of that? Here's a vintage photograph of my donut. That's a growing trend right now. LinkedIn. My skills include eating donuts. It's a business connection. Pinterest. Everybody done Pinterest yet? Okay. Here's a donut recipe. Okay. And Last FM. I don't know what this is. I just thought it was funny. I'm listening to the donuts. Anybody heard of that? Last FM?
It's a music. Yeah, you create a playlist or a list of artists and then broadcast it.
I don't know of any youth. A lot of youth using this, so I didn't focus on this. If we need to add this to tomorrow, let me know. I'll research it tonight. All right, Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook for a minute. Most everybody in here that said to raise their hand have a personal Facebook page, correct? Are you using the new timeline or do you not like it? I think the new timeline makes it cool. It makes it more like a website-looking thing. And you know, you have your profile picture here, you know, and then you got your whatever picture you want to put up here, and I'll explain that in just a little bit. You've got your timeline down here. I made this after it went blank on me, but there's usually a post right there. You got your friends list and everybody that's online. It's a lot of fun. I use Facebook quite a bit. My wife complains about me being on Facebook a lot. I do not play games on Facebook. I think Facebook was a great tool, but if you get into all the game playing and all the stuff that it offers, you're wasting an awful lot of time. And remember what we said social media is about. It's interaction and communication. Playing games, I don't care if you think you can type in hello to your farmer neighbor. That's not really communication, okay? Or trading cows and pigs with them or whatever. So I don't really use it at all for games, but I know that's a lot of kids and a lot of adults do. Okay? This is a, how many of you guys have a church page, a youth group website page or a Facebook page? Okay? This is one of the cooler aspects that we can do. This is a public group. You can create a public group on your, take the chairs out. You can create a public group on Facebook. It looks just like your personal page. You have the same profile picture and the same picture here that you can use in the new timeline. So you have the timelines and the different friends and all that, and different subjects, so it looks a lot like it. The difference is that this one is when you go, if you've ever gone and liked something, when you create a page like this, you go and like it. Once you like it, then you get all the posts on your Facebook timeline. So on our Facebook group in our church, this is our youth at Heritage Baptist Church, when we post something, everybody that has liked it, it shows up on their timeline. Now, one of the problems in using that as your only communication to your youth, how many of your youth have 1,000 friends? Okay? If you're one of them or they're a part of this group and you post something and it shows up on their timeline, if they're not watching it immediately, chances are it's way down the line. Okay? Most of the time it's missed. I have a lot of people that I say, how are things going? And they'll go, I posted on Facebook last week that I'm pregnant or whatever. I'm like, you didn't see that? I'm like, no, I got like 1,400 friends and I don't really see everything on it. So you just have to keep that aware. So they will see that if they're all the time on or if they're on at the point. But this is not a really great way to communicate unless they constantly check in on it. All right? Then the next thing you have is a closed group. Now I would recommend this for Facebook for your youth group. Remember the one we just talked about, the page is open to the public. Anybody can see it at any time. They can choose to like it and get the post on their timeline. But a private group, and this is what I use for student leadership with our ministry of First Priority, because it is closed and only people that are invited to it by the administrator are part of the group. They can request to be a member of it, but it has to be signed off of by an individual who's the administrator. You can assign different administrators. The person who creates it's automatically the administrator, but you can also assign students and any other adult that you want as a member to be an administrator. But it looks different. You know, you can see there's already a different look to the front of it. It is nothing but posts here, and then it suggests who can you add to it. So if you notice that it's mostly for communication in this part. So when you join this group and you add somebody as a group and you leave a post on this, this shows up better in their timeline than an open group.
They get a notification.
Yes,
it
they get a
comes up
notification.
and says someone's posted in your groups.
Yeah, it shows up in their timeline, and they also get a notification that's correct. You can also communicate directly to these people, message these groups, and all. What I like about it being for students that you're not broadcasting information through it. It's not a public communication, but this is for student leaders or students you know or members of your youth group that you really want to communicate to. You can talk to them about inviting their friends, the lost friends here, but you really wouldn't want to put on the public one because the lost friends may see it. And you don't want to get into great communication or too deep a communication in any of these social medias. But you can, in this situation, talk about things that you wouldn't talk about in public or talk about where everybody can see them. And the other great thing about it is if you're worried about creepers on the internet, you don't have to worry about that. We were looking at our Heritage Baptist page last year before we created a new one, and that was when you could join them. It had 700 people joining them, and we couldn't figure out who 630 of them were, okay? people just grab onto it. People can like your Facebook page as an open group, and you'll never know who's seeing that in their timeline. But on this, it is by invitation only. And I would recommend that you do that. It's very simple to set up. You just set up a closed group on Facebook. One of the things I want to show you about, here's if you don't use events. Events, if this is the Heritage Baptist Association or Holston Baptist. Say I go to Heritage Baptist Church, and this is a Holston Baptist thing. I get them backwards all the time. Okay, Holston Baptist Association. This is the event page for this event. And if you've never used one of these, this is a great way to communicate, because what you do is you create an event. You have your personal information here about the event. Granted, you probably can't read that from where you are. You have a map or directions to where you are, and then you move down here and you can start posting things. You can close this off to only you posting stuff on it, or you can open up to anybody who's invited to post on it. So you can use a great point of communication. You also have suggested people of who to invite, and I found that this is pretty good. The way they've got this set up is they get a feel for who you are and who you communicate with, and their suggestions are a lot of right online. Okay? If you've forgotten somebody in your youth group, and that youth group person is involved in interacting with the people that are invited, more than likely you're going to get a suggestion to invite them. And it's been very handy for me to do that. And of course you got your advertisements over here. But one of the cool things about this is your students can then use it to invite others. You can set it up. Once you have it set up, you can set it up to either only you invite people or allow others who are invited to invite their friends. So anytime you have an outreach program or an outreach event, this is a great tool, because what they'll do is turn around and invite the friends that they want to come to the event. Okay? You also have, if you can see, you can't read it, but down here, just like any other, let me go back. Just like any other Facebook page, you have the share and tag stuff down here, so you can go and share that event and it shows up on your timeline. But this is one of the best tools that I've seen for youth and for parents. I'm just talking about a specific event, because they will get a thing in their inbox that you've been invited to. If you've ever seen that before, they can decline, they can say yes I'm coming, or they can say maybe, and they can change that up at any time. So I would suggest that you use that for when you're interacting with them. Now, here's an example of groups or lists on Facebook. Give me just a couple of you. How many friends do you have on Facebook?
540.
540. Somebody else?
A
Couple hundred? 700? Have you ever gone to write or invite or do something with, and you want to send a message out to a multiple group of people, and it says, who do you want to write it to? And you have all these choices, and then you have to go through each of them and pick, I don't know them, I know them, I don't want it. If you create lists, it's just like on your address book or anything else. You can create lists and only put the people you want to on those lists. Once you've created the lists, if you want to have youth workers, adult parents, students, senior high, junior high, you can name it whatever you want to. Put your friends list, divide them up into that. One of the coolest things about it is when you become friends with somebody, when you do so, it's going to ask you, do you want to add them to a list? So when you have a new kid that's come to your youth group, asked to be your friend on Facebook, or you invited them to be on Facebook, it's going to say, do you want to put them on a list, and you can choose to put them in the junior high, senior high, or whatever list you've created. This saves an awful lot of time, especially if you use your personal page for inviting your youth group. That way you're not inviting your friends from college. You can set up lists just for the youth, and it's very quick and easy that way. Okay? I was talking about this as the cover photo up top and the profile photo down below. How many of you guys have chosen not to go to the new timeline? Do you think there's all these things joined?
I have to now. Like, it was changing one, I think either yesterday or the first.
Oh, it's automatically making you go to it
Yeah,
now?
it's on there.
Okay, if you don't do it, you're going to have a blank cover photo on your timeline. But there's all these groups of don't change Facebook, don't like the new timeline. It seems like to be a growing thing. But this is what it looks like. And I like the new timeline not only because of the way it looks, but there's also a lot of features in it that you may not have known about. Okay? One of the coolest things that I've noticed, and this helps you from getting things lost in your timelines or things that you want people to see when they log on to your timeline or they log on to your page, is called featuring or pinning a post. Now the way that's done is you go up to where you can edit the post, and you can choose pin this post. And what happens is that post sits at the top of your timeline for up to 7 days. And I think it's on the next page. Yeah. So when you have a post, and you probably can't read it, but it says pin to top underneath the edit button, a little pencil in the corner of your post. You can pin it to the top, and what it'll do is move it up the top of your timeline and put that little bookmark on it. It's a very handy little device. Okay, especially if you update, like right now, we are updating our youth group's page while I'm here, and we'll take a fun photograph or say we're on our way to this or that. But if there's something you want the parents to log into and see, or somebody else, I can pin that particular post and it stays at the top. So when I put a new photograph, it's going to go underneath it, and it doesn't get lost way down in the timeline. And you can do as many of these as you want to. I would suggest that you only have 1 or 2 pins, because it's going to have, if you pin them all the time, it's going to do just like what you're trying to avoid. They're going to just move down the page. One of the coolest things now is the administrators page. This is the administrators page. If you notice, our page starts right here, but when you click on the hide or see the administrator page, you get this information at the top. This is only in groups. This is not on your personal page. This is only in group settings, and so when you set up one for your youth group, this is what you have. And here's what you've got. You've got notifications up here. So when somebody likes or posts or does something to your, asked to join your group or whatever, likes it, you get notifications there. Over here you get messages. So if you've got anybody messaging you, that shows up there. You can see I don't have anything in my messages. Down here you've got new likes for people who've come and liked, so you can see who's liking your page. And then you've got the insights, which are statistics. And this is pretty cool. It's something that you need to pay attention to. And I'm going to go through those here. When you pull up your insights, it's what happens with insights is it's going to track information that happens to particular posts that you've placed, or photographs or whatever, up to 28 days. So when you post something, if you posted something within the last 28 days, right now you can go back to it and look to see about all the information that's happened to it. It keeps track of organic connections, which are connections made directly from your page. It keeps track of viral, and this is a key thing with youth. It keeps track of viral connections, which is where I post something on my page and Andrew likes it. Well, he is a direct or an organic connection. But when he likes it or shares it, and then you off his page like it or share it or say something about it, then that's considered viral. So you get to see how well your kids or your students are communicating out, and what you're seeing is going viral. And then you've got the last category is paid. I'm not going to go into advertising on Facebook or anything like that, but if you're interested in it, it is pretty effective, and I'd be happy to talk about it. Go research it on Facebook. Okay, so this is what you're seeing. You're seeing the blue line, which is organic connections. You're seeing the green line, which is viral, and you can see my purple line. I don't pay for marketing, so it's not going to show anything up there. Okay. Now, down here below are the statistics. Each one of these little lines right here is a different post. It shows the date and a little summary of what I posted. Okay. On these statistics, you're going to have, first you're going to have reach. This is the number of unique people who have seen my post. Now, I'm not sure how it knows. I try to figure this out, but I'm not sure how it knows that somebody's seen it, as opposed to it's been on their timeline and they didn't look at it. But this is what that means. That's what Facebook calls it. People have seen it. When it says unique, it means individuals who've seen your post. Okay. The next one is engaged users. An engaged user is someone that has clicked on that post. Whether they want to, if you've got a link on it, if you've got a photograph on it, or whatever, they've clicked on that and it moved beyond just looking at it on the page. It's been interacting with it. Next is talking about this. This is the unique individuals that have created stories. This is the term that Facebook is using, which means they've liked it, they've commented on it, they've shared it, or done some kind of response to it. Tagged a photo or anything like that, okay? And then your last one in there is viral. That's the percentage of engaged users who have created stories. So you've gone from people that have clicked on the link, and this is a comparison of how many have actually clicked on it and then shared it, spoken about it, and all this. This is pretty cool, and one reason you need to keep track of this is because one of the things that you need to learn how to do is write post in Facebook and Twitter and all these things that people are interested in. We'll talk a little bit more about that, how to do that here at the end. How am I doing on time? Okay. And then the last thing you've got on this, along the top here, are different categories. If you notice, this was the overview, and that's what we were just looking at, okay, with the chart. And then we're going to go across the timeline here, and I'll read them to you as it's hard to read. This one is likes, and this is showing me what days of the week my likes are hitting, and it's since I posted, which days I had more likes, which days I didn't have, which days I had interactions with it. Down below it is talking about the countries of the people that have seen it. And I don't know how this is, but this is Kenya and Canada. I don't know who has liked what we're doing in our youth group from Kenya and Canada, but it's down there. Okay. The next one over is reach. This is beyond likes. This is actually who's seen it beyond. This is the viral part of it. Okay. Now you can't read this, but this is the English. These are the languages that have interacted with our Facebook page. This is English. This is English as in old, like England. This is Spanish, and this is pirate. We've had a pirate look at our Facebook page. Okay. That's what it says, pirate. Okay. This is pretty good to, once again, to just do more research about which posts and what links and the things, how you say them and how you quote them, and what your posts are doing online. So that's just a way to research and determine what's working best for you. The next things are talking about and checks in. I couldn't find my screen. That's not all. Fix that. I think I told you I had an old printer here. It's the menu select. Oh, this isn't good. Uh-oh. Well, I may have to give you a new projector next time. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what the pink is. Hopefully you can still see. There's not a lot of color left in it. Alright. But the talking about and check-ins, you have to have 30 more people do this before you start getting statistics on it. And I couldn't find an example of that before. And then, of course, you have a mobile app. You guys use Facebook on a phone. That's how I'm updating everything from here. And you can do it on your personal Facebook page. That's really looking bad, isn't it? Sorry about that, guys. Your personal Facebook page, your group pages, or wherever you want to do it. You can check in and do everything through your mobile app. All right. Anybody have any questions, Facebook-wise? Kelly doesn't know anything about computers or how I have her up here trying to fix my thing. And you can turn the recorder off as long as that picture's bad. The recorder's not going to work. So, okay, Twitter. How many did you say you tweet or twits? How many twits we have in here? All right, Twitter is a growing trend among youth. Believe it or not, there used to be only considered college people, but there are more and more teenagers doing this, and I think it's actually growing, and it's predicted to eventually take over their Facebook. So you're not familiar with Twitter. There are ways of communicating with each other. It's kind of more awkward than it is on Facebook to do that. But it's mostly about what you're doing right now. It's a 140 character or less update status of it. Okay. Twitter is a social media, 144 characters or 140 characters or less. You follow people on Facebook. Now, I mean, on Facebook you friend people. On Twitter you follow them. That's the term that they're using. One of the things that's cool about it is when you see something coming on a tweet that you've seen that somebody else has done that you like, you can retweet it, which means it automatically does it. It gives credit to who tweeted it. It puts the tweet. This is another confusing thing. It puts the tweet of the twit. But you can repost things that you like. You can share them, basically, is how it works. And the way it works is you have the @ symbol and the name of the username in every tweet that's posted. This is a hard to Twitter, twit, face, whatever. You know what I'm saying. If I say twit, you know what I'm saying. Oh, it came back. I saw it in the window. So it's It's pretty cool. I really like Twitter. It's very interactive and a lot of fun. Like I said, you can communicate with people through it. It's a little cumbersome, but it's okay. And we'll hope it stays that way. Just a delayed reaction to the smack. But here, let me show you a little bit more about it. When we talked about hashtags, the way what hashtags are, that's the little pound symbol. Okay. One of the youth pastors the other day, or just at dinner, was telling me that he told his students to use the pound symbol. And students go, what? He goes, oh, with a little tic-tac-toe board. They go, what? And he goes, a hashtag. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, so don't use the pound symbol anymore. If your answering machine says, please press pound, you can't do that anymore. It's going to say, press hashtag. But the way a hashtag works, you can track tweets by the user. My username is @HaleyWary. It's my name. So you can get on there and say, hey, whatever you'd follow me to find out what I'm saying. It also tells you when somebody says something about you. So if somebody writes a tweet with your name in it, you're going to get a notification about it. But the way a hashtag works is, and if you've ever heard the word trending or the use trending, what you use is a hashtag, and you can put any name after that hashtag. It's a pound symbol and whatever you want to put about it. HBASC, Holston Baptist Association Student Conference. Okay, we could say twit with this hashtag, and whoever uses it, it could show up in a search. So what we do is we'd set any of our Twitter accounts or anything like that, trackers, and anything that comes across with the hashtag will show up. And when you trend something, that means that's the top 10 things that are being talked about. They're using that hashtag. I would love to see if we could get, I don't know if there's enough tweeters here or whatever, see if we can get something trending with HBASC. But one of the cool things about it is you ask your youth to use a hashtag, and then you can track everything that's said about that in that hashtag. If somebody retweets something about that same hashtag, you'll get a notification of that. And you can also see the top 10 things that are being tweeted at the moment. And it's hard to read on here, but we've got the death of Earl Scruggs is on here. We've got Charlie Sheen is always on there for some reason. I don't know why. But you get to see what everybody's talking about using the hashtags. Okay? And then there's the mobile app for it. Twitter is so simple and easy, there's not a lot of description to use. I think Facebook is probably the most complicated and complex social media there is. There's so many uses to it. Twitter is just a step down from that, or maybe 2 steps down from that. And it's very simple. You just have to remember followers, you have to remember users, which is the @ symbol, and you have to remember hashtags. And other than that, it's very simple. Everything's tweeting, so you can see that I'm following several people here, and they show up on my timeline. And you have to go through them just like in Facebook. They show up as they're getting posted. Most of your applications, unlike Facebook, most of your phone applications and your Twitter applications will indicate where the last one you read was, and then you can go from there and read up top. Okay? I've got, on the last page, there are several different people that I follow, and I would recommend you follow in youth ministry. A lot of them, I get a lot of news off of Twitter. I get a lot of resources off of Twitter. I get a lot of topics and trends and stuff that's going on in youth ministry. And one of the cool things is they ask a lot of questions, so you can get a lot of discussions back and forth using hashtags, using the usernames and all that. I'm talking about youth stuff. So if you want to look through those, there's some pretty cool ones on there. Anybody have any questions about Twitter? Yes, sir.
You also use Twitter to go and post to your Facebook page too.
Yes, one of the things I have towards the end. You can connect all of these things to each other. Most of these social media sites will connect. So when I place when I tweet on Twitter, the same thing shows up on my Facebook page. And you can see at the bottom of the post, via Twitter is what it usually says. Okay? So that one of the things here's one thing to remember. When you retweet something, if you ever have trouble saying it again, retweet something. Retweets don't get put to Facebook. So when I retweet something, instead of the RT, which is the symbol for retweet, I will put from, the word from. And so I still give credit to who I retweet, but then it shows up on Facebook. Does that make sense? That's one thing to keep in mind. Any other questions? Foursquare. I told you I didn't even think about Foursquare. So nobody in here is interested in, nobody's using it. I think it's kind of it was a fad for a little bit. You've heard if you'll see it on Facebook every now and then, I'm now the mayor of the water cooler. Okay, that's Foursquare. So, now you can pass it. YouTube. How many of you guys have a YouTube channel? I'm sure all of you have seen a YouTube video, right? This is one of the fastest growing and biggest internet things going on. And youth are actually, a lot of them migrating from Facebook and Twitter into YouTube. It's getting more and more interactive. Okay? This is where you can post videos. For youth ministry, it's great. You can post videos of testimonies, advertisements, events. If you're creative and cool and have the software to do it, you can create your own videos and use them and post them on Facebook. If you have a website and you have limited storage, you can post a video on Facebook and then insert it into your website, and the memory is being stored on YouTube, so you're not spending any time or any money for extra storage. This is how we do the Holston Baptist website. We post on YouTube, and then we just post it within our pages, and it makes for much faster uploading too. Have you ever been on a website that's got a big video on it, and the video takes forever to load? On YouTube, it's instantly there, and you watch it while it's streaming live. So, okay. When you create a YouTube account, just like in any other of these social medias, you will have what we call a YouTube channel. Okay? In your YouTube channel is you can favor other people's YouTube channels, you can favor videos and they'll show up. But what tends to be there on your channel is the things that you've uploaded. This is the First Priority America website, and what they've done is they've uploaded their training videos on here. So anybody can access them and get there's commercials on here about what First Priority is. There are training manuals and training sessions in there that are recorded. But this is basically a set of commercials, and you can use it for information. So, if you have a video that you created, you can't, there's a lot of copyright issues with YouTube. If you create a video and use music that it recognizes as public music, it won't show up on here. It'll just be a silent video. I've done that before. I taped a musical for a church and posted it on YouTube, and it was silent because it recognized the music. It was copywritten, and they wouldn't put it on there. So you have to be careful about that. But if you create your own commercials, your own advertisements, your own videos, you can post them on here and then share them on Facebook and Twitter and all that.
I think that it will let you post it on there if you put whatever music that you got it from. You have to give them recognition, and it will post it.
I have not been successful with that because it's
some sort of like
That's
if
true.
you do a cover of a
It might.
song, like you have to click on artist and you have to put the artist on there, and then take your video down.
Now there's a lot of places online you can create videos, and they have selections of music that's already given permission to be used online. I know you can do that, but that's a good point. That might be the case now. I don't. Ever since I had a problem with that particular video, I've never posted music videos again. So it may have changed since then. This is my personal page here, and you can see I've got the same thing. I'm using it for our ministry. We've got a personal testimony of a teacher that works with our students. We've got personal testimonies of students. If make sure you get permission to post these from parents before you do that. You can film if you want to. You can film your talks, youth ministry talks, and put them on the internet. You can get testimonies of parents. You can make commercials. You can film wild and crazy games. Whatever you can film, you can stick on there. And I think it's a great place to put the 2 to 3 minute testimonies on YouTube. Once you have a video up on there, it shows up on its own personal page, and you can share it on social sites. You can see the Facebook and YouTube, or the Facebook and Twitter thing below it. You can go and get links to be able to share it yourself. It gives you the link right here. This is the embedded code. There's all kinds of ways for you to use this video once you're on the page. And look, again, the best thing about this is you don't have to have storage to store all these videos. It makes for a great time, easy thing to do. They load a lot faster. One of the cool things about iPhones is when you film something with your iPhone, you can instantly now, with the new version of the software, the OS software, you can post it to YouTube. And it's pretty simple and pretty quick, and because it's on your phone, it's not that big, and data doesn't take a lot of time to upload. But it's very simple. All you do is set up the account and the place to put your own personal channel there and the information, and you upload it very quickly. And instantly from there, you can share it wherever you are. And you can post it to Facebook and Twitter and all that. Anybody ever done that with their iPhones? It's pretty simple to do. Any questions of YouTube? Like I told you, we're going to try to fly through this. We're halfway over. So, all right. Instagram. This is a fun thing. It's kind of new, especially if you like taking pictures. So this is a website that posts pictures. This is a social media where you post pictures. You can do this on Facebook. You can put pictures on Facebook and people can tag them and comment on them and all that. So just think about Instagram just being just the photograph part of it, posting pictures. All right? But one of the cool things about it, it's only mobile. You go to the website and it says, go download the mobile app, okay? So what you do, what you have with your phone, you get Instagram on your phone, is you can take, it shows up just like a timeline. The people you're following, your pictures show up on a timeline, and this is the first thing I ever did, and from now on it's at the bottom of my timeline. Okay? Yes, sir.
It's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's only Apple's operating system right now. It's not on Android, is it?
I do not think so. I think it's just Apple. But I think I've heard that they're actually moving towards that direction. It's getting so big, they're moving towards Andrew. They're moving towards Android. All right? So here's how this works. You take a picture. You can take a lot of pictures. You see, I was sitting in front of my computer when I took this. Or you can say, use an existing photograph. This is the youth group that I was with last year here at the conference. And once you've picked a photograph, it's going to load it in there. And you can see below it, there's different choices. See the different trees? And each of them have a different look. As you go across there, there's normal, there's 1977, there's metallic, and this is what they talk about by vintage photograph. You make it look like it came out of a, what do you call it, the little spits picture out, Polaroid camera, okay? So you go through it and you pick, you can change the look of it. That's an old looking one. You can change it to the metallic looking one. But once you've chosen what you want, I went with the black one, the black and white one. You hit the little check button and it's going to ask you to enter information. You can save the picture. It's going to ask you for a caption to it and any other information you want. It saves a copy to your phone. So if you're using your iPhone to do pictures with, it's going to save it there. And then it posts it onto, you can have it post to Facebook or Twitter. This is what the picture looked like on my Facebook page. And here, of course, people can comment on it and like it. But on Instagram, they can do the same thing. They can comment on it, like it, share it. And it's just basically a photo album, is what Instagram is. I've noticed a much bigger use. I have a lot of students starting to use Instagram. The way you see it is that it shows up on their Facebook pages, and you can see they're using it. But you can go and sign up for Instagram and be their friend on Instagram. Okay? Any questions? How about LinkedIn? You guys use LinkedIn? A couple of people? This is more professional. This is Facebook for professionals. It has every aspect that Facebook has. It's a lot more confusing to look at. If you've ever been on it, it's very confusing to interact with. It looks like it was designed by some government official. You know, it's got a lot of stuff on it. But if you're wanting to interact with people that are older than me, or older than Andrew, who's 22, you want to act for somebody, there's a lot of people connected, especially if they're in the business world. So, a lot of your parents will be on here, a lot of your deacons and elders in your church, a lot of the people that you want to interact with in your church are members of LinkedIn, okay? But one of the fastest growing groups are 18 to 34 because it is basically a resume on the internet. It's a business resume on the internet. And so all these guys that are coming out of this generation right now that are internet savvy are going and putting their resumes on LinkedIn. So you can easily keep up with your former youth and people like that on the internet. Okay? Or LinkedIn, I'm sorry. Very similar to Facebook. It has updates on it just like Facebook. In fact, when I do my social network stuff is all linked to LinkedIn. So when I post on Twitter, it posts to LinkedIn. Okay? You can follow, you can comment, you can like, you can do everything that Facebook does in this system. You create a profile just like you do on Facebook. But remember, this is business related. So what it's going to ask you to do is going to ask you to basically put your resume information in. Where have you worked? Where are you currently working? What are your skills? What are your interests? What are your training? Where you go to school and all that. And so it's going to get a lot more information than Facebook would. So if you're wanting to do this and wanting to do it full out, you got to remember this is a lot more information that's going to be public than what you have on Facebook. Okay? One of the cool things about it is that people will start on here, start asking you to endorse them. It's like a letter of recommendation. Okay? And so people will start sharing back and forth that letter of recommendations. This is what very handy when you start looking for a job. I don't like talking about youth pastors changing jobs because they change jobs quite a bit. I don't want to be accused of helping you find a tool to help you find a new job, better job. But this is what LinkedIn is, okay? You can also create groups and join groups on LinkedIn. This is one of the cool things about youth pastors. A lot of youth ministries on LinkedIn. There are North American Mission Board student ministries on there. Youth specialties and things like that are on here. Group magazine is on here. So what you can do is you can join a group. And then what they do is they post discussions within the group. So somebody will get on and they'll ask a question, or they'll say a statement. Say, what is your response to this? Has anybody seen or heard? I mean, they may go to one of these seminars tonight and go on this and go, hey, you have a problem with pornography in your youth ministry. And everybody can start communicating back and forth. So once you join the group, you get all this information coming to you, and you can get in and out of the conversation however you want to. And then once a week, you're going to get an email, if you choose to, an email or a text that says, here's all the discussions that have started this week. And if you really like interacting, if you really like asking other youth pastors or wanting be input from them and interact with others, this is a great way to do it. Because a lot of youth pastors are on here. There's 2 or 3 of you right here now. So. And of course you have LinkedIn on your phone. And it has all the other features. I am in a ministry that interacts with business people. And so if I see somebody that I've met or interact with somebody I want to know, I can ask to be their friend or follow them on here. Just like, but I don't know any students on here. I don't know any teenagers that I work with that are a member or have anything on here like LinkedIn. So most teenagers aren't even thinking about resumes at the point. So it's really meant for the adults if you're connecting with adults. Any questions? All right, just a couple more. Pinterest. How many of you guys use Pinterest? I actually signed up for Pinterest to be able to tell you what Pinterest is. And I don't know if I'll use it a lot, but I've noticed that soccer moms tend to be on Pinterest. But I've got an awful lot of girls in our youth group that are now members of Pinterest. Here's how Pinterest works, the best way to sum Pinterest up. Remember I said LinkedIn or Instagram is like sharing your photos on Facebook. Pinterest is like sharing links on Facebook. Because when you go in Pinterest, what you do is you go and you pin things on the internet. This is my page that I created. This is all the things that I have pinned. Or the friends that I follow have pinned. So if you notice, I went and pinned a few of the videos that I like in first priority. This is, what's his name's book? Francis Chan's book I pinned. This right here is a student's, the future restaurant she wants to have. Okay? So you can see all the different things that she's going to serve in a restaurant. This is a book that somebody that I'm following has pinned. But that's how it shows up. They can comment, once you pin it, you can comment about it. You can also categorize your pins into notebooks. So what I've done is I've created youth worker resources, student resources, campus ministry. I've done all the things that I work with. And hopefully what I'm creating on here is just like a resource place for people to go. Or something that I can go and find real quick. And I've gone and found people that I follow that are doing the same thing. You can see a couple of books that have shown up, and a couple of resources that have shown up. They're doing the same thing. But what happens is you create a button on the top of your menu bar, your bookmark bar, and when you're surfing the internet and you see something you like, when we talked about a little donut recipe thing, you can find a recipe, you can find pictures or whatever, you can pin it, and it's going to take the largest image that's on that page and stick it on your wall or stick it in your notebook. So you don't often always get the same photograph you really want on there, but that's what happens. Okay. Every now and then they'll give you an option. If you have 2 or 3 pictures that are very similar, you get to choose between them. But that's the way Pinterest works. Okay. This is that was my public page. This is my private informational page, and this is the things that only I have posted on there. And you notice I've posted the Olson Baptist Student website down there at the bottom. But those are things I pinned. Okay? And you can see I've created boards. These are 5 different boards or 6 different boards. I got first priority, I've got apologetics, youth ministry resources, personal growth, campus ministry, and youth ministry resources. That's what I chose to do. Now, your students will do all kinds of things. Furniture, I mean, you name it. Foods, furniture, weddings, things that the girls are all doing, the way flowers. One of the ladies in our community group is like a home decor person, so she's got all these different designs, kitchen designs and all that pinned in her thing. But it's really just the best thing that you can do Pinterest with your youth is just to get an insight about what they're interested in. That's kind of what it is. Not a lot of interaction through here. You can like their pictures and comment on the pictures, but it's not as interactive as Facebook is. But it's a growing trend. This is like I chose to follow Tiger Brooks. Everybody know who Tiger Brooks is from WCQR? He's a friend of mine. This is his. So if we're trying to friend people, want to use it as youth ministry resources, trying to figure out what our people like, I can go here and go like, oh, Tiger likes cool stuff. He's an electronic nut like me. He likes Bass Pro Shops. You can take away and give away that one. We're going to do. He has Tennessee up there. I don't like UT, so I can see thumbs down on that. But anyway, you just get a picture of what they're interested in. And then if you go into there, that's his notebooks. If you go into his notebooks, then he's got all the things he's pinned in there. Okay. And once you've gone and found something, if you go in here into Bass Pro Shops, and he's put up a picture of a bow and arrow or something that you got, you can repin it. And what that means is it pins it to your page then. So it's kind of like sharing as well on Facebook as well, but you can like and comment on subjects. Does that make sense? Anybody in here? I didn't ask anybody in here using Pinterest. I did ask that. Just a couple of the ladies are all using it. None of the guys? Am I the only guy? Did I lose some points on my man card for Pinterest? Okay. All right. Now to sum all this up, there are resources out there, especially internet-based and web-based and on your phone too, that you can use to interact with all of these social sites at one time. My favorite is Hootsuite. It is a free program on your phone and on the internet, and what it does is it tracks, watches, studies, scans, whatever you want to do, and also posts to every social media that you can name. This is a page that I've got up here. This is my Twitter feed. So up here I've got all of my tweets and the people I'm following. Here's all the ones that have mentioned me. Here's all the ones that have messaged me. And over here are all the ones that I have future posts doing. This is the cool thing about Hootsuite, is you can go in and schedule all your social media through it. And you look across the top, there's my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, and my Facebook page. And then up here I've got certain group pages up here. There's my Facebook First Priority one and a Prayer Zone one that I work with. But what you do with this is you can update, you can watch everything that's going on in your social media right here. Or what I use it mostly for is using it to post updates and schedule them out. This is very handy to do. Okay? So what you do is you go in and you create a post that you want to put on. It gives you the 140 characters or less, depending on if you're doing Twitter, it's going to limit you 140. If you're doing Facebook, it's going to give you a little bit more. But then you go down and you pick the date and the time, up to 5-minute intervals, and you schedule. You choose what networks you want to put it on, what pages you want to put it on schedule. What I've been doing is I'll schedule a whole week's worth of tweets out, because I use Facebook to do more communication and ask questions. So if I've got a question of the day, I always schedule at the same time. I've got posts about events that I put on there. I've got study questions that we're going to be talking about at youth. I'll put them ahead of time. Tomorrow night we're going to be talking about this topic. Make sure you read Luke chapter 17 or whatever. Okay. So we're posting all those out. You can do the same thing on your phone. This is an iPhone app for it. I'm following the 3 networks that I'm following. I can go in and look to see what my pending tweets are. I can schedule the tweets just like it is on the thing. But this is a pretty interactive. There's a lot more to Hootsuite than it is, but it's the best one I've found for interacting with all of the social media at the same time. Make sense? All right. Let's talk about how to do tweets and how to do Facebook posts and post on all these networks. So just to be better at what you're doing. You need to learn to write persuasive tweets, or persuasive I put tweets here because my tweets go to all my social networks. Persuasive posts, right? Posts are like headlines. You want to draw somebody's attention when you're using them. They need to be easy to read, so don't go using a lot of long, big words, okay? And they need to generate curiosity. The best ones are the ones that people are going to stop and go, huh? And click on wherever you got or want to know more about it and comment on it. So when you think about them as headlines, think about them like that, okay? You want to post at the right time when most of your followers are online. This is one of the things about the cool thing about the stats. We can go back to track your stats on all your posts, is that you need to go and post when your people are online. I don't know if I've never gotten in the habit of scheduling my tweets for 3 a.m. in the morning because not many people are on there. My question of the day is always put at 6 p.m. For some reason, that seems to be the best time for people to respond to my question of the day. 5 o'clock to midnight, I've seen the most response. But I'll post throughout the day. If I'm posting something for youth pastors, I'll put it during the business hours. I'm posting something to youth, I'll put it during the after school time till dinner time. Posting something to parents, it's usually in the evening after they tuck their kids into bed or whatever, okay? So you need to learn and research not only how much interaction you get, but just when your kids are up, okay, and when you're going to do it online. The click rates here, I got some statistics or some details. The click rates are normally at the highest in the afternoon, and you want people to be interactive with you. Like and comment and share other people's posts. The more you interact with people on the internet, not only do they interact back with you, but a lot of times it will move you up. Do you remember Facebook's old, they went away from because so many people complained about it. But the more you interact with people, their stuff would show up in your timeline earlier. Okay? There are still some social networks that do that, and you can still set Facebook to do that. Okay? But it will start, it's something you have to go deep into and find. But the more you interact with them, basically the more you interact with them, the more they end up interacting with you. Okay? I have friends that are far away from me politically. And I'll go a long time without ever answering any of their comments or questions or whatever. But after a couple of times I've commented to them and commented nicely to them or answered a question they've asked, they'll start communicating with me in my posts. Okay? So it works that way with anybody. So the more you're interacting, the more you're building. Remember, we're trying to get dialogue through this. Okay? Reply to every comment that somebody puts on your posts. Okay? This does two things. One is it builds the communication. It builds a conversation going there. It makes them know that you've seen it and you appreciate their input. But it also helps you trend. Now, it's not the term a lot of them use, but the more if you have a post that gets interacted with quite a bit, it's going to stay up in people's timelines and stuff like that, so you're going to be seen more. So the more you're reporting. This is something I have never done, even in my questions of the day. But right now, what I'm doing after researching all this is now I'm trying to answer everybody who posts. Just to, even if it's say, hey, thanks for your comment, or if I ask a question today, I'll go answer it myself. I used to never do that hardly either, but I want to hear what other people want to say, but I didn't want to necessarily share it with them. Okay, so go and interact with as many people. Comment when they post. Space out your posts enough so that your followers don't get annoyed by it. One of the recommendations they have is don't go more than 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after a tweet. So basically an hour. Okay, try not to post now. When you're in an event, like here, something neat comes up, I'll post it. I'm not worried about the timeline. But on a regular basis, you don't want to do all kinds of stuff. This is just like people that talk all the time about, you know people that know something about everything and they want to comment on everything. You tend to begin to just ignore them or blow off what they're saying. This happens online too. So if you're constantly saying things, remember people are scanning through and they're going to go, oh, there's Haley again. Used to be a problem we had with email. Okay, people didn't want to watch your email because they have so many to go through. It's the same way. They have so many tweets and Facebook posts, they just don't want to deal with you if you're always there online. Connect your accounts. We talked about that. Connect your Facebook to your LinkedIn to your tweet and all that, so they're all interacting. It saves you a lot of time. If you're using 3 networks and you want to post something on all 3, you don't have to go into each of them. It gets interaction. I'll post things on Facebook, and because it posts to my LinkedIn, every now and then I get a business person or somebody on LinkedIn that will comment to it. And I probably would have never posted it in the LinkedIn account, but because it's so easy and connected, I do, and I get some interaction with it through that way. And keep track of this when you're using Hootsuite. When you can schedule tweets every 5 minutes, don't do that. Stay within the hour if you can. Work on getting more followers. That's an easy one. Get more friends on Facebook. Get more details on people following you on Twitter. All that. That's all going to build communication. It's all going to interact with people. Post and share only the best content you find. One of the things that annoys me is to know when somebody's going to the bathroom or you had a donut. I mean, it's like, I'm going to lunch now. Okay, if you're going to lunch and you have a car accident, okay, tweet that, but let me know about that. I'll pray for you. One of the things I use Facebook and Twitter is for in our ministry is for instant updates on what we're doing. You can pray for us instantly, like an online thing. But just be careful about that. It's the same thing again if you're treating trivial stuff. People will look at you and go, "Oh, they'll just overlook what you're saying." Okay, so be careful about that. Right between, if you're tweeting and if you're posting on Facebook, you have 140 characters on Twitter, but statistics show that if you cram everything into those, I'll do that. I'll go in and abbreviate a word so I can get 140 characters, But statistically, the most reads come anywhere from 120 to 130. So don't cram too much in there, and don't make them too short. You want to be right in there at the end. Okay? So don't use their 140 characters all the time. Tag others often. One of the cool things about Facebook, and I don't know if this is something new or just something I've never paid attention to, but now when I go in and you're writing something on Facebook and you start typing in a friend's name, it's going to go, "Hey, you want to select that friend?" And you do, it tags them in that conversation. The students use this quite a bit. Now, you're not only just tagging them in a photograph, everybody's familiar with that, but you can tag them in a post. And when you tag them in a post, they get a notification. It's something they don't want to ignore. It's something they get. And it says, "Haley Wary tagged you in a post." So, of course, what am I going to do? I'm going to go figure out what you said about me, So I'm instantly going to go look at it. And on Twitter, you use the @ symbol and somebody's username, and they will get a notification that you said something about them there. And then Facebook, it's just tagging them. Okay? Place links earlier in your posts. One of the things that you don't want to do is make a long sentence and then say, "Here's the post I want you to click on." It's better statistically for you to put that link somewhere in the beginning. I used to say, "Hey, check out this website. This is a cool thing. You'll never forget it," and post the link. Now I'm doing, "Check out this," the link, and then I make the comment about it. Statistically, it's supposed to be better for you to do that. Change your habits on weekends. If you post every hour on Monday through Friday, switch it up on weekends. Now, the reason they say to do this, social media is slower on the weekends anyway. Okay? So you don't want to be the one that's, if you're posting once an hour and you're average, and you do that on the weekends, and you're going to become the one that posts too much, okay? So change your habits on the weekend. Your click rates are higher on the weekend, so make sure your content is better on the weekend. If you're going to tweet something, make sure it's really something interesting. Chances are it's going to get clicked on. And also changing up your style on the weekends or even throughout the week will let people know that you're not just some robot in there typing and always using Hootsuite to post. I personally do not post on the weekends unless I'm at a special event or I've got something super special going on. I basically take a fast from doing that on Sundays. I hardly ever Twitter on Sunday. Not a fast, but what do you call it? Holy day or what's the term? Sabbath. Yeah. Okay. All right, just about finished. Check your statistics often and make adjustments when needed. We just showed you how to do that on Facebook. Twitter has some other things like that. And there are also third party. You can actually pay a lot of different websites to track all this information for you. And that's it. That's all I had for you guys. This is all of my information. The picture got bigger when I transferred to my iPod, so it cuts off. I'm the only Haley Wary on any of these social networks. I have a pretty cool single name. I mean, if you go to Facebook, type in Haley Wary, I'm the only one on there. I have 800 million users. And basically everything I use is that way. So if you guys are interested, my wife pointed out I didn't put that on the paper, so if you guys want to follow me and get on that or anything like that, ask me questions. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'll try to keep up with this. and learn. So if you ask me a question I don't know, I'm going to find out. But I hope that's been helpful. This was a subject that people wanted to talk about here. It was asked some questions, so we've been able to provide it. Any questions? Has this been okay? You liked it? Has it been okay? Make sure you put that on the, when you do the evaluation, make sure you say it. Okay, so. All right. If you guys want to ask any questions, hang around, that's fine, but we're right on time. 58 minutes and 12 seconds, that's how long we're talking. At an hour. So what? Hold on, I still got a minute.